What does it take to transform a promising young team into legitimate contenders? The Montreal Canadiens have been asking themselves this question for years now, watching their talented prospects develop, while desperately searching for that one veteran presence who can bridge the gap between potential and performance. Tonight, we're diving deep into a trade scenario that has the hockey world buzzing. A move that could finally give Montreal the identity they've been craving since their surprising playoff run feels like a lifetime ago. Picture this. You've got one of the most exciting young rosters in the National Hockey League, a fan base hungry for success, and a front office determined to accelerate their rebuild without sacrificing the future. So, why does it feel like something crucial is still missing? The answer might be skating in Calgary right now, wearing the wrong jersey, and watching his team spiral into what looks increasingly like a full-scale implosion. Let's talk about Nazem Kadri, a name that keeps surfacing in Montreal trade discussions like a song you can't get out of your head. This isn't just wishful thinking from desperate fans scrolling through social media at midnight. This is a legitimate possibility that's gaining serious traction, and here's why it makes so much sense it's almost painful. Kadri isn't your typical aging veteran clinging to relevance. At 35 years old, this man is defying father time like he's got a personal vendetta against the aging curve. Last season, he absolutely torched the league for 67 points. That's 35 goals and 32 assists for those keeping score at home. The year before, an even more impressive 75-point campaign. These aren't empty calories either. We're talking about meaningful, impactful production from a player who brings exactly what Montreal desperately needs. The Calgary Flames are currently locked into a 7-year, $49 million commitment with Kadri, which breaks down to a $7 million annual cap hit. Under normal circumstances, that's a hefty price tag for a player in his mid-30s. But these aren't normal circumstances. Calgary is sinking faster than the Titanic, and unlike that famous ship, they don't even have a string quartet playing them off into the abyss. The Flames can't find an identity, they can't find rhythm, and most importantly, they can't find wins. When a team starts looking at draft lottery odds for 2026 like they're studying lottery numbers, you know the fire sale is coming. Former Canadiens center Maxime Lapierre didn't mince words on a recent episode of the Sick podcast. He called Kadri the perfect fit for Montreal, and when you break down what he brings to the table, it's hard to argue with that assessment. Lapierre highlighted Kadri's two-way game, his physicality, and his wealth of experience. 3 ingredients Montreal's recipe for success has been missing. Pierre Maguire, co-host and respected hockey mind, echoed these sentiments with even more enthusiasm. Maguire revealed they've discussed Kadri as a Montreal fit before, emphasizing his Stanley Cup credentials and the kind of locker room presence that can't be taught or manufactured. This isn't just about statistics on a spreadsheet. This is about leadership, about championship DNA, about having someone in the room who's been to the mountaintop and knows what it takes to get there. Think about what Montreal is building right now. They're not just assembling talent, they're constructing a culture. Every successful organization in professional sports will tell you the same thing. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can have all the skill in the world, but without the right character guys setting the tone, you're just a collection of individuals wearing the same uniform. Kadri represents that hardworking, character-driven mentality that transforms good teams into great ones. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what Kadri would actually do for Montreal's lineup. His playing style reads like a wish list for what the Canadiens need. Heavy skilled and defensively responsible. That's the holy trinity of modern hockey, especially for a second-line center tasked with matching up against opponents' top lines while still generating offense. Imagine Kadri centering a line with Alex Newhook, creating a second unit that opposing coaches would lose sleep over. But here's where it gets really interesting. Think about what his presence would mean for the integration of young phenom Ivan Demidov into Montreal's lineup. Having a veteran like Kadri to shelter minutes, provide mentorship, and take on the toughest defensive assignments would allow Demidov to develop at his own pace without being thrown to the wolves prematurely. This isn't just about filling a roster spot. This is strategic roster construction at its finest. The Canadiens have been linked to everyone from Sidney Crosby to every available center who can win a faceoff, but Kadri represents something different. He's actually attainable. While Crosby remains a pipe dream that makes for great headlines but little else, Kadri is a realistic target that addresses immediate needs without mortgaging the entire future. Now let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the cap hit in the salary structure. Kadri's $7 million annual cap hit is substantial, and Montreal currently has approximately $5.1 million in cap space. That's not enough to simply absorb his contract without some creative maneuvering. But here's where Calgary's desperation becomes Montreal's opportunity. If the Flames are truly embracing a complete rebuild, and all signs point to exactly that, they'll be motivated to move Kadri's contract, even if it means retaining salary. A 50% retention would bring his cap hit down to $3.5 million, suddenly making this deal not just feasible, but downright attractive. Calgary would be looking for younger pieces or draft picks in return, which plays perfectly into Montreal's hand. They've got depth in their prospect pool and draft capital to spare. The Canadiens are in that sweet spot where they're competitive enough to justify adding a veteran presence, but young enough that they're not in a win-now-or-bust situation that would force them to overpay. It's the kind of negotiating position that general managers dream about, leverage without desperation. Here's what really matters about a potential Kadri acquisition. It would signal that Montreal is ready to take the next step. For years, we've heard about patience, about development, about not rushing the process. All valid points, all necessary in their time. But there comes a moment when patience transforms into complacency, when waiting for the perfect moment means missing the right moment entirely. Most insiders and analysts agree that Montreal is missing exactly this type of player, a proven, veteran second-line center who can elevate the middle six while providing leadership and playoff experience. The Canadiens have assembled one of the better, younger, cost-controlled rosters in the NHL. They've done the hard part of accumulating talent. Now comes the art of maximizing that talent by surrounding it with the right complementary pieces. Kadri isn't a savior. He's not going to single-handedly transform Montreal into Stanley Cup favorites overnight. But he doesn't need to be. He needs to be exactly what he is. A formidable two-way center capable of driving play, mentoring young players, and providing the kind of veteran presence that makes everyone around him better. That's not asking for a miracle. That's asking for exactly what he's been delivering for over a decade in this league. Every trade involves risk. Acquiring a 35-year-old player, even one producing at Kadri's level, means betting that his performance won't fall off a cliff tomorrow. But consider the alternative. Standing pat, hoping internal development alone will be enough, and potentially wasting another year of your young core's development waiting for a perfect solution that may never materialize. This is what they call a calculated gamble, and it's the kind of move that separates good general managers from great ones. The risk is manageable. You're not giving up franchise cornerstones or emptying your draft cupboard. The reward, however, could be transformative. Adding Kadri could be the catalyst that accelerates Montreal's timeline from promising young team to legitimate playoff contender. So here we are, standing at a crossroads that could define Montreal's trajectory for the next several seasons. On one path, continued patience and internal development. On the other, a bold move that signals confidence in the current core and a willingness to strike while the iron is hot. Nazem Kadri might not be the flashiest name on the trade market. He won't generate the same headlines as pursuing a future Hall of Famer. But sometimes the right move isn't the one that makes the biggest splash, it's the one that makes the most sense. And right now, with Calgary's season circling the drain and Montreal's window of opportunity creaking open, this move makes all the sense in the world. The pieces are there. The motivation exists on both sides. The fit is undeniable. Now, it's just a matter of whether Montreal's front office has the conviction to pull the trigger on a deal that could finally give them the missing piece they've been searching for. What do you think? Is Kadri the answer to Montreal's second-line center question, or should they keep searching for that perfect fit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear whether you think this trade makes sense or if you've got a better solution in mind. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Montreal's potential game-changing move, smash that like button and let's keep this conversation going.